So this vlog is off to a pretty late start, but hello from Augusta, guys. I drove into Augusta this afternoon after my radiology shift this morning. I have my interview here tomorrow, which is my final interview of the season. I am staying with one of the radiology residents who is an alumni from my school, so she offers students that are interviewing in Augusta to stay at her condo, which is super nice of her. But yeah, I'm back to my old stomping grounds. If you guys didn't know, I went to Augusta University for undergrad. And so a little while ago, I went down to like the hospital area just to see where I'm gonna be and parking and all that. And it was just bringing back so many memories from my undergrad days. But right now I'm heading to the pre-interview dinner. It's at 6 o'clock and it's at one of the residents' homes. Y'all, I completely forgot to pack a pre-interview outfit, a pre-interview dinner outfit. So literally I had to improvise with my interview shirt, some jeans, and some black flats. Just had to make it work, but thankfully it's gonna be super casual because it is at a resident's house. Good morning, guys. So the pre-interview dinner last night, it was fine. It was a pretty good mix of residents and applicants who showed up. Like I mentioned, it was at a resident's house. You can kind of tell that the applicants are kind of over interview season by this point. It's like mid-January, so people are either on their last interview like me or maybe have one remaining or two. So it's, you know, the general, do you have any questions for me? What do you want to know about the program? So it was that, you know, those kind of conversations yesterday. I mentioned I'm staying at one of the residents' homes, one of the residents from my medical school that graduated a few years ago. This is my view. She stays downtown. I didn't really come downtown too often when I was in undergrad here, but I've heard that Augusta has really changed like over the past few years. More restaurants coming up, more breweries. They even have like a Top Golf that's gonna be opening soon. I see you, Augusta, but it still is Augusta. But I'm in the afternoon session for my interview today, which means I don't have to get there till 11, and then the interview day ends at 5, so it's gonna be a pretty long day. The morning session got there at 7:30, interview ends at 2 p.m. So it is 9 o'clock now. I think I'm gonna go get breakfast somewhere and then either come back here or from there go straight to the interview spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready. All right, I'm ready. I'm just gonna go straight from the restaurant to the interview site. So I got my heels here, and my flats right now, which I always bring to wear on the tour. Eating at Metro Diner this morning. Never tried this place. Got some waffles, some turkey sausage. These waffles are so good. All right, so I just got to the campus. This is the health sciences campus. The undergrad campus is maybe like a 5-minute drive from this. One familiar place is the student center, which they have like a gym, workout area that we will come to. Oh, the shuttle I would catch every morning from my dorm to campus. Nostalgia. All right, so the building is right over there. I'll see you guys after interview day. So interview is done. It's been such a long day. It's about 5 o'clock and I'm just getting back to the apartment. I'm just gonna pack up my stuff and then hit the road. Y'all, I cannot leave Augusta without stopping at Diablo's, which is like a Southwest grill. Think of Chipotle or Moe's, but just way better. So I'm back home. The drive felt so much longer coming back than it did going, but it was about 2.5 hours coming back. But yeah, I saw a couple of familiar faces during the tour, during the interview tour. Like one of my chemistry TAs, I saw him today at the hospital, and he's now a PA, physician assistant. I remember during undergrad when he was our TA, he was telling us that he was trying to get his application together to apply to PA school. So I mean, it's awesome that he is now a PA. And then also one of the residents, I think she's in her 2nd year, we went to undergrad together. When I first saw her at the pre-interview dinner, I'm like, she looks kind of familiar. And then she mentioned that she did go to Augusta University the same time that I went. The biology department is like pretty small, so you'll know pretty much who's there. But it is truly such a relief that I'm finally done with all of my interviews. I had a pretty good interview season. I'm like super blessed and super happy with the way that things turned out for me. Received so much like positive feedback about my application during the interview season, so that's pretty reassuring. Just got the email today that we can now start submitting our rank order list, and it's due in February. And then March 20th is match day, where we find out, you know, what program we match to. But it is about 9 o'clock. I do have to be at the hospital tomorrow at 8 for another like radiology shift plus a lecture. So I'm gonna be heading to bed pretty soon. But tomorrow I'll continue to vlog and tell you guys about like expenses for interview season, how to budget, and kind of like what costs to expect along the interview trail. Good morning, guys. Just got to the hospital. I have a morning session in the reading room. I'm actually doing neuroradiology this morning. And we have lecture. We have a lecture at 11, noon conference, and then I should be done for the day. All right, I am back home now. So yesterday I mentioned that I was going to talk about like some of the expenses that come with interview season and with 4th year. As a 3rd year student, it's important to know like what to expect coming in so that you can budget properly, save properly, request a certain amount of financial aid that you may need for the year. So certain expenses with 4th year is your board exams that you take. Step 2 CK and Step 2 CS come out to about $2,000. If you do away rotations for whatever specialty you're applying to, you know, paying for housing there for the month. That's only if you do one. So if you do multiple, that's multiple weeks of paying for a place to rent out. If you're flying there, that's flight, so that's another expense. Paying for your residency applications, that can add up real quick. And then also paying for actually going on interviews. Now, it's a good idea to talk to current 4th years at your school just to see how much their interview season cost them. Remember last year I asked a few of them and they all said around like $5,000 and up. So for me, I had that number in mind, but I also knew that I was going to be like applying regionally, which means a lot of the places would be driving distance for me, not really taking that many long flights. So in the beginning of the application cycle, I set out to go on 10 to 12 interviews. For me, that was like the sweet spot. I was going to be comfortable with that number. And that was also like what was recommended by like advisors at our school, to go on about 12 interviews. So I ended up going on a total of 10 interviews, and I spent just under $1,300, about $1,250, like to be exact. So I had a very cost efficient interview season. For the 10 interviews that I went on, I only had to pay a hotel for 3 of them, and that's because either the program provided the hotel for me, I stayed with somebody, or I was already in that city, like I was on the away rotation, so I just interviewed at that time, or it was local, like a couple of places I applied to was in Atlanta. So yeah, 3 hotels to pay for. As far as flights and getting there, I had to pay for 3 flights out of the 10 interviews that I went on. The others were driving distance or they were local. And one thing about the hotel being paid for by the program, this is very common in family medicine and in pediatrics. I'm not sure about internal medicine or the others, but those are the couple specialties that I'm hearing about that pretty much all of their hotels are paid for. I think it's pretty rare in other specialties. I only had a couple during the interview season pay for me, which was really nice. I got one interview invite that I ended up declining because just to go on that one interview would cost me anywhere from $600 to $700, and I knew it was a program that I wouldn't rank highly for, so for me it just wasn't worth the cost. When I factored in the flight there, the hotel there, the Uber that I had to use, it was about $600 to $700, so it just wasn't worth it. I was comfortable going on the amount that I did go on. But I will say, do not let money, you know, hinder you from going on as many interviews as you want or as many interviews as you need to. That's why it's very important to budget accordingly. So for me, I'm very happy with you know, the 10 interviews that I went on. I'm very happy with the amount of money that I spent and really keeping that amount low. But you really just have to know yourself and know your application, know how competitive you are to the specialty that you're applying for, and make sure you're having mentors and advisors look over your application so you know where you stand. For me, before the application started, I talked to my EM advisor, and he told me the range of programs that I should be applying to, like how many applications I should submit. And then as far as how many interviews to go on, if you look at the charting outcomes, it's a PDF like with the match charting outcomes, it lets you know like if you go on X amount of interviews, this is your like percent chance to match. So like look at the charting outcomes, listen to your advisors at your institution, and you know, get recommendations as far as what you should be doing with the application process. Don't try to go in blindly, you know, do as much research as you can about this process. But I will be making like a future video or videos about the application process, how to pick the programs to apply to, how to pick away rotations if that's something that you need for your specialty, you know, just the interviewing process, how to prepare for interviews. And so for me, my rank order list is pretty much complete. I think I'm gonna be submitting it this weekend. I would say I would be like happy matching in any of the top 6 programs that I've ranked, the top 6 out of the 10 programs. I think I'd be pretty happy matching anywhere there. You know, after that, you obviously rank the programs lower for a reason, so matching there, you're gonna be happy. Matching is just about, you know, getting your #1 choice, getting your top choice, which I hope happens for me. But we will have to wait until March 20th. Until then, it'll be here before I know it. If you guys have like any questions about the application process, emergency medicine specifically, or just general questions about interviewing, about 4th year, leave it in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer it, and I'll use those as well to make future videos. Hope you guys enjoy this one. If you do, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.